Hey, what's up, guys? Why can't I win here? I I kind of wanted to put something out there for everybody. I know, I don't have a huge following, but I guess I have a story to tell. So, about 2 years ago, we responded to a 911 call of a hanging. I was on the ambulance that responded. And when we arrived on scene, we walked into a open garage to see a very, very well-known man, our fire chief, laying dead on the floor. He had hung himself. He had taped his suicide note to his car window that was sitting next to him. He was to the point where we couldn't do anything for him. It's been 2 years, and that call still haunts me every single day. Because I'm only left with questions, And at the end of the day, I know, we know why. We know what he was probably thinking. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm still haunted with questions as to why an extremely well-known chief of two emergency agencies and a mentor and to so many people, and had so many people that looked up to him, not only his family but us as well. But we looked up to him like he was the kind of person that people wanted to be, and he was the kind of person that people wanted to do things for, because you knew he had your back. What possessed him to do something like that? And at first I was angry. I was furious. Because I didn't know how to process it, and all I could think is, how could he do this to us? And I think that's a big thing with suicide. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger at them. And then I realized eventually that he wasn't thinking about who was going to be there to see him. He was looking for a way out. And that was the only way he saw. We might never know what he was actually thinking. Unfortunately, once it's happened, there's nothing you can do to change it. And as a medical professional, that is one of the hardest things to understand and to comprehend. We obviously know when we can't do anything. We know when it's too late. That's what we're taught to do. That's our whole job, frankly. But it's completely different when it's somebody you know. You can't distance yourself from seeing that in the person that made you who you are. He was the reason I am, and he is the reason I am what I am today, for better or worse. He continues to affect my life every day. But I'm still left with questions. And I think everybody that has experienced a suicide with a close family member or a friend is left with questions. Now, especially us in emergency response, we have more questions. But unfortunately, there's no answers. And there more than likely never will be answers. Unless I meet him again someday. Shortly after that, I began having nightmares. I tried all those 1-800 numbers that were thrown out for first responders. And truthfully, it's not effective. Calling a 1-800 number to call somebody in a different state that may or may not understand what you're thinking and what you're going through. It's not it. And we all deal with things differently, absolutely. Some of us drink. It's just a fact. Some of us try to party our feelings away, party our nightmares away. But when you wake up, they're still there. I tried to sleep them away. I didn't eat, didn't drink much. I just laid in bed for days. And anybody that has any amount of time in emergency services will have a call that affects them. That's just a fact. You can talk to anybody. They most likely don't want to talk about it, but this is one of the things I'm very open about because I want people to understand that easy way out is not. It's not easy. I would have much rather talked to him for an hour when I had seen him earlier that day than attended his funeral and read his obituary. I would have rather taken a day off work and sat with him. I would have taken a week off work if I had to. I would have rather done that than watch as our firefighters and EMTs lowered his casket into the ground. It's hard to heal from that. A couple months ago, another close friend of mine committed suicide as well. Him? I don't know why. Thankfully, I didn't have to see this one, but he was fairly well off. He had a beautiful fiance who's now alone. He had just started a job as a law enforcement officer. He's making good money. I'd spoken with him the night before. He didn't show anything to me. I had spoken with him about the previous suicide I mentioned, the one that I had to see, and he was very, very kind and listening about it. And now he's gone. He didn't write a note. Didn't put anything in his will. just shot himself in the head. And I'll never know why. And I still go through every single day thinking there's something I could have done. And I know that neither of them were trying to be selfish, and I sound incredibly selfish for wanting them back. And it is incredibly selfish for me to want them back. But I miss them every single day. And if I could have traded with them, I would have in a second. Both of them had such an incredible positive impact on the people they knew. And both of them are the reason a significant amount of people are still alive today. Those two saved lives. But for one reason or another, they couldn't help themselves. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be staring that down eventually. And it's not something that you can beat alone. You can't. You need people. You can't just cut yourself out from them. There have certainly been times where I've faced that as well, and those two have kept me going. Realizing how I felt when they did what they did. I never want to make somebody feel that way. Anybody in emergency response has faced suicide at some point. Anybody in for a reasonable amount of time, at least. We've all seen it. And all of us have calls that we will never forget. Some of us handle things better than others, but there's always one. There's always one that will stay in the back of your mind forever. And if those calls are the reason that you can't make it anymore, you just can't push on, you're losing sleep at night. You can't think about anything else. If you relive that in your dreams, or your nightmares for that matter, like I do, it really does affect every single portion of your life. And I'm working on it. I am. I have somebody that helps me significantly. And I'm trying to change myself for the better so I can get through it. But if you're losing sleep, if you just can't do it, don't listen to that stigma that it's bad or you're weak, because you're not. If you are pushing through that every single day, you are stronger than any motherfucker that says it shouldn't affect you. If you are strong enough to work through that and still do your job and still get up every day and be a human being, you're stronger than a lot of us. But it's not worth doing alone. Because you can't do it alone. You might be able to hold it off You might be able to function. But one day it'll get the better of you. One day it'll be too much. Don't let it get to that, like I almost did. I know not many people watch my videos or listen to my things, but don't be afraid to reach out. Because I've been there. And in a way, I still am. And as a brotherhood and sisterhood, we need to be there for each other. Especially now, when so many things are against all of us. When there is so much hate in the world. We don't have anybody but each other. It seems like a lot of people have forgotten about that. Because we are killing ourselves faster than we can retire. Every day you hear more about a police officer or a firefighter or an EMT or a paramedic or a nurse or even a security guard taking their own life. We need to start working together. Because at the end of the day, we don't have anybody else that understands what we're going through other than each other. And that's just a fact. Don't let the brotherhood die. Well, I'm going to shut my mouth now and get out of here, but that's what I wanted to talk about. I normally don't do things like this, and I promise the next video I post will be a little bit happier, but I just wanted to let people know that there are people here for you. I will take time out of my day to talk to you if you want me to. Well, that's it. Why can't I win? I'll see you guys next time.